Mr. Governor, please call a special session.
Can Coloradans get property tax relief if voters reject the governor's Prop HH? Asking for a state. A double twist buckflip as Colorado's most flexible congressman changes positions again in order to back an election denier for House Speaker. The list of excuses we have heard for the long security wait times at the airport is almost longer than the lines themselves.
Something we're really proud of here at Denver is we are fully staffed.
Now our congressional delegation is getting involved. And neighbors in a mountain valley have a unique project to make sure that everyone there gets fed. And we can help tonight on Next. The governor refuses to say if he will call a special legislative session to reduce property taxes if voters reject his Prop HH. That measure on your ballot would offset property taxes with some of your Tabor refund. Republicans already have the bills to go if there's a special session, but they've got no power to convene it, and they can't pass any tax relief without Democrats' help. Here's politics guy Marshall Zellinger.
Call a special session.
Call a special session.
A special session, when the state legislature is called back to work after early May, is not something the Republican minority can make happen on their own, despite saying the term 15 times in their news conference today.
Special session needs to be called by the governor.
Stop and call a special session.
Are you going to call a special session if Prop HH fails?
Well, again, I mean, they come back in January, whether it's November, whether it's January.
During our debate on Prop HH on Monday night, the governor made it clear by not answering the question, he's not planning a special session. State Senate Minority Leader Paul Lundeen and the Republicans are being persistent.
We are pushing our way into the conversation at this point.
If Prop HH fails, the Republicans announced 3 bill proposals they would introduce in a special session or even next year. Those bills include chunks of what Prop HH does, but without reducing or eliminating Tabor refunds to the extent that Prop HH would. But their solutions may not matter, since Democrats can pass bills without one single Republican vote, and because there is not likely to be a special session. Democratic State Representative Chris DeGree Kennedy listened to the Republican proposals, and I asked him if Prop HH fails, should there be a special session?
I honestly am not sure. The governor's made his views very clear on this, right? The governor's made very clear that he's not calling a special session, so I'm not really banking on that.
Towing the Democratic line, DeGree Kennedy would not suggest there should be a backup plan because there does not appear to be one.
It's obvious they are trying to create a narrative so that people can vote no on Prop HH, thinking that there's something better out there. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure there is.
I would support a special session, 100%.
There is one Democrat who did not get the memo that it's Prop HH or bust. Democratic State Senator Joanne Janal, who voted for the bill that put Prop HH on the ballot, is against Prop HH and wants lawmakers to go through the process again with more transparency.
It wasn't done in the Democratic way, where people have the option to come and talk about in committee the pros and the cons and why they're for it or why they're against it. People didn't have their say.
The fact that a Democratic state senator in Joanne Janal is supportive of the Republican proposals that came out today gives those proposals credibility.
Bipartisan.
Yeah, the one other, but even with her on those bills, they could still vote them down and come up with their own idea. Again, if we're talking a special session, Democrats can do it on their own. And if we're not talking about a special session come January, it can still be, well, Democrats are going to come up with a solution. We know Republicans have these ideas. We'll find a way to either vote them down or morph them into something Democrats really want.
Yeah. If people are interested in seeing your Prop HH debate between the governor and his opponents, we are re-airing at 7 p.m. Saturday on KTVD. Folks can see it on 9 News Plus or on the 9 News YouTube channel right now. But Republicans are essentially calling the governor's bluff on something that he said to you in the debate.
Yeah, he talked about wanting to lower the income tax rate, which he's talked about in every state of the state recently, basically. And so their third of 3 bills today was, let's lower the income tax rate, which would eat into Tabor surplus money, because if you're collecting fewer dollars, you would be giving fewer back. And then that's also, so it's either, if you lower the income tax rate, you're not going to have the Tabor money to do what Prop HH wants to do. And so if Prop HH fails, calling his bluff. Okay, you want to lower the income tax rate? There's Tabor money to do that. Why don't we do that instead? So I know it's confusing. But
we shall see. It's confusing, but it's important. It's people's money at the end of the day. All right, Marshall, thank you. Simone Biles would be envious of the contortions and gyrations that we have seen from Republican Congressman Ken Buck recently. His latest buckflip is the biggest. After Buck refused to back 2 other Republicans for House Speaker because they're election deniers, today Buck flipped and helped elect a different election denier, Mike Johnson. It was a Mega-Buckflip with a double twist.
Do you think it's okay for him or any other speaker candidate to have voted to decertify the last election, which was free and fairly won by Joe Biden?
I don't think it's okay, Abby. I think it's a mistake, but I think people make mistakes and still can be really good speakers.
Pretty clear that newly elected House Speaker Mike Johnson, close ally of former President Donald Trump, does not view his attempt to overthrow the election as a mistake. He was asked about it last night.
Mr. Johnson, you helped lead the efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
All three Colorado Republicans in the House, so Buck, Lauren Boebert, Doug Lamborn, they all supported Johnson for Speaker. Speaker Johnson he's on the far right of his caucus. He has voted for a national abortion ban, and he opposed gay marriage, comparing it to bestiality. So every year, a bunch of teenagers draft bills for the Capitol, real bills, and they present them to the state legislature. And today, they got a real taste of what legislating in Colorado is like. The Colorado Youth Advisory Council presented 6 policy proposals to legislators, but Republicans and conservative citizens in the public comment zeroed in on 2 bills that focus on support for trans youth. One bill would provide funding to train more healthcare providers in gender-affirming care, like puberty blockers and hormone therapy. The other proposed bill would allow teenagers to go by a preferred name or nickname in the classroom without having to legally change their name. A student's legal name would still be part of the school database, still be used in external documents unless there was a change approved by a parent. Republican Representative Ron Weinberg really reached for the opposition on this one. He said that allowing kids to go by a preferred name would confuse police during school shootings.
The shootings that happen in schools, when the police get assigned to the school and they have to go into the building, how are they going to know that if a student that is assigned a different name is within that school and that they can be saving that person?
The teenagers who drafted the bill said that they had talked with school districts who never suggested that allowing a kid to go by a different name or nickname would be a problem during a school shooting. Both those bills focused on trans youth passed out of committee, so they're actually going to be introduced and debated as legislation. Down in the Gunnison Valley, Crested Butte to Gunnison, there is a nonprofit that has a unique approach to helping feed our neighbors. Mountain Roots Food Project is building an entire food system in that valley. That's why they're the recipient of this week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign. Mountain Roots operates community gardens where people grow food to share with neighbors who need it. They also train local farmers on regenerative agriculture, and then that produce goes into the community. They offer cooking classes, teaching Coloradans how to eat healthy on a food stamps budget. They've built this network of farms and ranches that they buy from across Colorado to stock their weekly food boxes that go to families that might not have enough to eat. So you see, Mountain Roots is attacking hunger from every angle. It's ambitious. It's pretty impressive. And right now they're preparing for their Thanksgiving and holiday boxes full of locally grown and raised foods. It is great for people in need, and it's great business for local producers. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491 to get that link to donate. You know, even $5 helps. So same as always, I'll match the first 50 donations of $5 to get us rolling. I love how Mountain Roots says that it makes sure that families aren't just fed, but they're nourished. Let's help put more of those meals on Coloradans' tables.
Den is one of the top 10 airports in terms of the numbers of passengers screened by TSA.
Give TSA a big gold star for that. As the feds fight over a solution to the long wait times at the airport. First, though, they need to figure out which excuse to settle on. And folks in Boulder County are in for a couple of smoky weeks. Firefighters say nothing to worry about. A wet summer is helping their work. Next. The only thing longer than the security wait times at DIA is the list of excuses about why they can't fix the problem. It's gotten the attention of our electeds in Washington, who are now demanding more TSA staff at the airport. Here's Mark Salinger.
Flying through DIA can feel like a bit of a maze. No, we're not talking about the construction. Think of the seemingly never-ending zigzag back and forth no one signed up for and everyone gets.
It's a challenge, but I think we're doing a good job meeting that.
The security wait times aren't so bad if you ask the spokesperson for TSA, Think of it as an opportunity to see a new part of the airport, like baggage claim at 4 a.m. when the line wraps all the way where it's not supposed to be.
It gets pretty bad.
Bad enough for senators and representatives in Washington to send a letter to the TSA this week urging them to increase staffing here. They say while there's a record 78 million passengers expected to fly through this year, a lack of transparency around TSA's staffing formula has limited the airport's ability to respond to the increased number of passengers at DIA, or DEN.
Yeah, well, DEN is one of the top 10 airports in terms of the numbers of passengers screened by TSA, so it's really one of our busiest operations.
Lori Dankers is with TSA. TSA told us today they wouldn't respond to the letter signed by nearly all of Colorado's delegation in Washington, pleading for more staff. But a couple months ago, they told us staffing wasn't a problem.
Something we're really proud of here at Denver is we are fully staffed. We've been hiring quite a bit.
Okay, but the lines still looked long, kind of like the list of reasons we've been given for why they're so long. Flight departure schedules that drive these wait times are set by airlines, TSA said. The airport wasn't built to withstand as many passengers as we're seeing, DIA told us. The airport does not have the necessary TSA roles to meet this demand, lawmakers say.
We at TSA have that shared goal of getting you through the checkpoint quickly and efficiently, and we will continue to make sure we're staffed to do that.
So, fellow travelers, enjoy the scenic route and relax. It's about the journey, not the destination.
TSA says it works with the airport every day to tell them information about how many people are scheduled for flights at each hour. Lawmakers say, though, TSA doesn't share enough information with the airport to actually make that useful. Not only are they asking the TSA to increase their staffing levels, they're also asking them to work with the airport to actually allow DIA the ability to respond, Kyle, when more travelers show up for flights.
Where are we in terms of like historical staffing? Because I feel like it's always been a little tough at DIA, but not this bad.
Yeah, so we're expected to have 78 million travelers this year, which is an all-time record, though the lawmakers say that the TSA staffing is actually at a lower level than in 2019 when there were so many less travelers, I should say. The only thing the travelers know when they get to DIA, or I should say DEN, is that there are long lines still.
DEN. Thank you, Mark. Danielle Grant, life is full of surprises, but the snow this weekend isn't one of them because you've been telling us for days.
Yes, absolutely, Kyle. And right now it looks like maybe a couple of inches. So not just a little dusting, but actually some decent snowfall around here when you wake up on Sunday morning. Tonight, though, a beautiful sunset out there, some gorgeous cirrus clouds in the distance. As we look ahead, though, another quick storm system rolling in before the main event over the weekend. As it rolls in, we are once again going to be watching out for some patchy fog. Man, did you have to deal with that this morning? Off to the eastern plains, they're once again under a dense fog advisory overnight into tomorrow. We'll zoom out because this is our next storm system on the way. That'll usher in a cold front, drop off our temperatures even more, and that's going to be the trend heading into the weekend. We'll have a series of storms that take aim at Colorado and finally bring the Denver metro area our first snow. As we look at the futurecast overnight into tomorrow morning, we'll be waking up to mostly cloudy skies. Off to the northeastern plains, that patchy fog out there, maybe a couple of sprinkles, but really as that system pushes in across the northwest, it'll hit the high country, couple of inches of snow, especially for our northern mountains, but I'm really not expecting much as far as moisture here in Denver, but definitely a cool off with daytime highs backing into the 60s for us. We'll still be in the 70s and 80s into far southeastern Colorado, but yes, like you said, a few changes on the horizon. We're going to be looking at 30s for the weekend. Snowfall coming in. Looks like Saturday night into Sunday morning. It's going to be cold out there, and then we're tracking that freeze down to the teens. Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning. Yeah, lots of changes.
People can be prepared. This is hard. This is your last day at 9 News.
It is.
So your talent is only exceeded by your kindness and your humility. You will not say this yourself, so I'm going to say this to everybody else. You are as adored here as you are by everybody out there, because not only do you keep people safe when the weather is nasty and everything else, you are remarkably kind to every person in this building, and we are going to miss you a ton.
Why are you going to make me cry like this, Kyle? No.
People need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has been a wild ride. 10 years that I have been here. We have been through so much together. I mean, crazy blizzards, tornadoes, a pandemic, to say the least. I mean, we've been through it all. And, you know, I'm in the business of predicting the future, and I never Never thought that I would leave my dream job.
Yep.
But here we are making hard decisions, but the right decision for a multitude
They
of
can be
reasons.
both.
Yeah, they
It can be hard and it can be right.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited for what the future holds. We have, fresh beginnings in 2024. This job brings me so much joy. I love the viewers at home. I mean, everyone's like my friend, you know, and I love being out in the community. So I'm excited for what's next. I don't know what's next, but it's going to be good, and God's going to open up doors for me. And I'm really excited to keep you guys coming along the journey with me.
Yep. We love you. You're the best. We'll be right back. Our wet summer is just a gift, still, to the firefighters happy to be working a fire in Boulder County that they planned.
Hi, it's 4131. Fire was making a little push their way.
Today's a pretty small operation. We're going to hopefully burn 35 acres.
Left-hand engine on the right flank, west side. My bad.
So today we're on Hall Ranch, which is a property in Boulder County. And our goal today is to try to burn some grass. We're hoping to treat the fuels that have accumulated over time and allow for fire to work its way back into the ecosystem on the landscape. Wildfire is still a very natural phenomenon. It's as natural as hurricanes and tornadoes, and so there's a lot of fire-dependent species. Ponderosa pine is one of them. That's the trees that you see here on this property are predominantly ponderosa. They like fire. That's how the cones open in the seeds, and it helps them reseed. So as far as resource benefit, we're reintroducing what anciently and historically has been here before and is part of the ecosystem.
Just near that tree that torched near the southwest corner.
Hopefully we get to put some smoke in the air and allow the citizens and visitors to Boulder County see what we're doing here and that not all smoke is bad. Put good smoke in the air. And we don't want people to have to breathe it or anything, but a little bit of smoke now is much better than a catastrophic wildfire.
Yeah, that's good copy.
I think fire management and prescribed fire is a never-ending game. The projects that are being done today, we may not see the absolute benefit of for the next 20 to 30 years. Reintroduce fire to the landscape, help the species thrive, allow for the grasses to come back into the meadows, and we want to make sure it stays beautiful that way, and we don't have just a total stand replacement catastrophic fire.
Back with your feedback. Want to guess what it's about? Next. Mountain Roots Food Project is feeding the Gunnison Valley by building a whole food system through their farms and their community-supported agriculture, the weekly boxes that they take to neighbors in need, and they're getting ready for their holiday boxes. Scan the code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491 to join me in giving to Mountain Roots Food Project as they wind down the harvest season and gear up for the holiday season, continuing to feed neighbors in need. Trish says, thank you for saying goodbye to Danielle Grant in the way that we wish we all could. David writes, I want to add my voice in saying goodbye and good luck. Luck she will not need, but I'm sure she appreciates you saying that. And Tina says, really going to miss Danielle Grant's sunny disposition and her faux fur hats. Well, we're just like 3 days away from the first appearance of the season. Is that big fuzzy hat that either looks like one of those tribbles from Star Trek or a Cinnabon? I'm going to miss her so much. I'll see you next time.